with Samuel L. Hawking. The subject matter is the United Nations Annual.
Hey there, my name is Samuel L. Hawking. Today, on Click Clack, I am going to be answering questions about the United Nations from you, the viewer, over the telephone. Now let's take our first caller. Hi friend, you're on the air. What is your question?
Hi, this is Billy. My question is, what exactly is the UN?
Well Billy, the UN is actually called the UN, or the United Nations. The United Nations is an international organization whose stated aims are to facilitate cooperation in international law, international security, economic development, social progress, and human rights issues. Now for caller number 2. Hello, you're on Click Clack.
Yo, this is Bernard Jackson. I was wondering, where this UN at?
Well Bernard, the United Nations is located in New York, New York. Its address is 2 United Nations Plaza, just in case you want to send him a bomb or something. Let's get things moving. Caller 3, you're on the air.
Hello, this is William Cosby. Now, I've been hearing these United Nations meetings got a lot of people. Now, who goes to these?
Well, Mr. Cosby, the United Nations is frequented by dignitaries, diplomats, ambassadors from all over the world. There are currently 192 member states in the United Nations. There are also many observer states which just chill there, such as the Holy See, otherwise known as the Vatican. So now we have our 4th caller. What is your question?
Hello, this is Count Dracula. I want to suck your blood, Samuel L. Hawking. I want to know the history of the UN.
The United Nations was created in the wake of the League of Nations. Woodrow Wilson was the brains behind the League of Nations, but because of the evil Republicans, the United States never joined it. The League of Nations, without the USA's support, was weak and couldn't stop the start of World War II. Towards the end of World War II, 3 great men hung out at the Yalta Conference and thought up what is now the United Nations. Those great men were an incestuous cripple, an obese alcoholic, and a genocidal commie. The UN officially came into existence on October 24, 1945, and the rest is history, which I do not care to explain. Next question, number 5. You're on Click Clack.
Hello, this is Gino. I want to know the 6 General Assemblies of the UN and what they do.
The 6 General Assemblies are as follows. The General Assembly, which is the main part of the UN, meet yearly and are made up of every single member state. This assembly gives every member state a chance to address each other within a 2-week period. The second assembly is the Security Council. This assembly is pretty self-explanatory. It keeps the peace and order around the world. It consists of 5 permanent states, which are China, France, Russia, the United Kingdom, and the United States. 10 temporary states hold this office as well. The Economic and Social Council is the 3rd assembly. It assists the General Assembly in promoting international economic and social cooperation and development. The 4th group within the United Nations is the Secretariat. It is headed by the Secretary-General, which is currently Ban Ki-moon. It provides studies, information, and facilities needed by the rest of the UN for their get-togethers. The 5th part of the UN is the judicial body called the International Court of Justice. They make judicial decisions on international crimes. Their most important accomplishments consist of rubbing out Saddam Hussein, punishing the big bad Nazis for war crimes, as well as many others. The last assembly of the UN is not presently active. This group is known as the Trusteeship Council, which governs non-governed territories in the best interest for international peace and security. Since most lands are governed these days, this section of the UN was put on indefinite suspension. We are up to caller number 6 now, and boy, we have learned a lot about the UN, haven't we? Caller 6, you're up.
Hey, what are you doing? This is Frankie here, and I need to know what the United Nations is really there for, because I got a thick skull and I really need to know right now, aight?
Well, Francis, the UN is important in many ways. Chief among them is that it gives smaller countries a platform to get their message out to the rest of the world. It also acts as a peacekeeping force, preventing many harmful conflicts from happening in the world. Time for lucky number 7. What is your question?
That's a lot.
For those of you that don't speak Munster, Mr. Frankenstein doesn't like the UN. This is not only his view on it, and many others feel this way too. Some points for this argument are that the United Nations doesn't really have enough power to enforce its own international law. The worst they can do is write an angry letter or place sanctions upon such evildoers. Some countries today are powerful enough to act unilaterally, which means they don't need to approval of the international community to act. This essentially makes the UN meaningless. Caller 8 is actually my lovely wife Samantha. Hello, honey. What is your question?
Don't you? Hello, honey. Me. You are a no-talent hack. All you do is read from a teleprompter. I bet you don't even have your own opinion on this garbage. We are getting a divorce.
At least I signed a prenup. But to prove that vile woman wrong, I shall give you my opinion. I think that the UN needs to remain as it is. It may not be perfect, but it is crucial as a way for smaller countries to get their voices heard around the world. Also, the model UN clubs around the globe provide young, hopeless, pathetic teens a way to socially interact, albeit primitively, but at least they have something. It must stay, if not for the world, for the children. 7, 8, 9, so this is actually number 10. What is your question?
Hey, this is Johnson, and I want to know how the UN is successful.
One of the United Nations' greatest accomplishments is the Third Geneva Convention. It was signed in 1949 and replaced the Geneva Convention before it. It added many rights to prisoners of war and has helped make the world a happier, war-torn place for you and me. Now, our last caller, and boy are my fingers tired, number 10. It's all you.
Hi, this is Dan Pochel. My teacher gave me this awfully stupid project where I have to research the failure of the UN. Samuel Hawking, can you help me out?
It pains me to say that the UN has had its share of failures. One great folly of the United Nations is the recurrence of genocides that have gone unnoticed, such as those in Darfur and other nations. With the situation in Darfur, the UN has failed to recognize the many people dying there and refused to lend a helping hand, even though it is clear that such atrocities are currently happening. Well, it was fun, but I must go. Until next time, I am Samuel L. Hawking, and thank you for watching Click Clack.
Chocolate rain. Some stay dry and others feel the pain. Chocolate rain. A baby born will die before the sin. Chocolate rain. The school books say it can't be here again. Chocolate rain. The prisons make you wonder where it went. Chocolate rain. Build a tent and say the world is dry. Chocolate rain.